What does it mean to you personally to return to Russia to be reunited with your one-year crew member and to receive the honors that have been associated with the completion of your record-breaking mission?
It means a few things. First of all, since I'm leaving NASA here pretty soon, this might be the last time for me to come back to Russia, a country which I love, and the people. I have great friends here and have spent, many years here, almost actually more than a decade and a half. So it's sad in that respect. I definitely will try to get back as much as possible, but not nearly as much as I was coming here as a crew member training for all these years. And then it was great to see Misha, who I've spent so much time with in space, and see how he's doing, which is great. And my other crew members on board. I saw Sergei Volkov the first night I was here, and then I also saw Gennady Padalka and Anton Skaplarov. So, just seeing them and other friends has really made it a great trip so far.
Overall, how significant was the one-year mission and in retrospect in bringing us closer overall to our journey to Mars?
Going to Mars is a bunch of baby steps. And, it started off with the first human in space, Yuri Gagarin. And this mission with Misha and I and all the people that put it together, not only my fellow crew member mates on board, but all the people on the ground, is another one of those steps. And sometime in the future, all these small steps will lead to people putting their feet on Mars in the name of science, exploration, and discovery, and I'm proud to be one small part of that.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind in the 3 weeks that have passed since your landing. Have you had time to absorb the magnitude of your accomplishment and the impact it's had worldwide on the public's perception of human spaceflight and of the International Space Station?
I have had very little time to do anything, actually. I got back to Houston and jumped in with both feet into my pool in my backyard, and I guess that's somewhat of a metaphor for jumping right back into life. And it's been very, very busy, a lot of debriefs and medical tests. So on one hand, I haven't had time to really come to grips with the magnitude and the duration that we were gone, and just the incredible effort it takes to fly any flight to the space station, no less a flight of a year. So I hope in the next several weeks or months I will have a little bit more time to kind of decompress and consider what this flight has meant to me, and I am getting a sense for what it meant to other people. I was kind of somewhat wouldn't say shocked. It was somewhat a little overwhelming, I guess, to see how many people were really following along and interested. And I had a sense for that when I was on board, but not nearly the sense I got for the public interest once I had gotten back. So it's great to see that, and I think over time I'll be able to, as I think about it and contemplate the meaning of this mission, I'll really appreciate the public's involvement in this more too.
Scott, you're going to be leaving NASA soon to pursue future opportunities in your life, and you've said all along that you'd never be far from spaceflight. Looking back at your incredible career and most recently the one-year mission, how do you feel that your contribution has opened the doors for others, for the future generations to follow in pursuing human exploration of space?
A couple things in that question. I am going to be leaving the civil service, but I still will be working with NASA as a human research test subject, kind of like what my brother was doing the whole time I was in space. He wasn't a NASA civil servant all this time. He was, just almost like a volunteer. There's still a lot of data to collect on me and him, and we'll both continue to do that. I'll also continue to do the debriefs about my mission once I've left the civil service. I'll just do that with a retired astronaut badge. And by me leaving, it allows me the freedom to do a lot of other things, One of those is to continue to be an advocate for human spaceflight, but do it in a way where I have more time on my hands, more freedom, and therefore, in my opinion, the ability to even do a better job than I currently can do now. The other part of your question is about, how can I motivate or be an example for the other astronauts or future astronauts that will come behind me to, for them to achieve their goals. In my life, I have never turned down a hard job. I may have not have liked it. I may have thought of other options for other people to do it, but in the end, I would never say yes or never say no to something I should deep down think I should say yes to that because it is hard. And, when we do things that are really hard, we can achieve great things. And I think, as that has worked as a great model for me. There are many times when people ask me to do something, as an example, be the backup to a space station crew where there was no flight associated with it. I didn't want to do it. Didn't seem to make sense, but I was asked to, so I put my head down and marched smartly and spent a couple of years training for a space flight that had no flight. But, because I did that, that was recognized as, a major sacrifice. And, later on that led to something else, which led to something else. So it's kind of almost been the model of my career to never say no to things. And I think that's why now, 20 years later, I have had a significant amount of experience and opportunity. I don't consider myself the most capable astronaut, but I've certainly had a lot of opportunities and a lot of great experiences. And I would encourage those that come behind me to just have an open mind to doing things, the hard things, even if they might not think they're the right things at first.
Lastly, over the course of your career, you've worked with many other astronauts in space on your missions, both on the shuttle and on the International Space Station. But Mikhail Kornienko, your one-year crew member, talk about that relationship a bit, and how are you going to move forward in keeping in touch with Mikhail over the incredible bond that you had in your year in space?
My brother from another mother, my space brother. I will be friends with him for the rest of my life. He's a great guy, a really kind of a down-to-earth, kind of earthy, walk with your bare feet through the grass kind of guy. And I enjoyed immensely him being up there. He did a great job. Always had a positive attitude. It was great that we could, share this experience together, the highs and the lows, and have each other to lean on. And it was great that this was done in an international way. I think it really drives home the importance of the space station program as a place of international cooperation in something that is incredibly, incredibly difficult, and how this international partnership makes us stronger at doing the hard things.